Johnny Depp denies accusations of abuse from his ex-wife Amber Heard. What will happen when her lawyers get to cross-examine him? You can watch Johnny Depp take the stand again today. HLN will bring you the live coverage of the testimony. Begins at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then all the big developments tonight in a special report called Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, War Over Words, 9 p.m. Eastern on HLN.
I think it was an easy target for her to hit, because once you've trusted somebody for a certain amount of years and you've told them all the secrets of your life, that information then, of course, can be used against you, especially if it's taken to a point that is teetering on impossible.
Jesse Weber is host at the Law and Crime Network and has been actually physically in the trial courtroom in Virginia for us here. So Jesse, Depp was on the stand. Wow, 3 hours. That is a long time, is it not, for a jury to have rapt attention, but did they?
Oh, they were paying attention to him like a hawk. And I would say, you know, sometimes you can have a witness take the stand. They testify for a long time. They speak in a low, slow, deliberate speech pattern. They might lose them. Not when Johnny Depp is taking the stand. And I was watching them very carefully. They didn't look away. They didn't look down. They were focused on every one of his words, which is understandable considering this is Johnny Depp. We're not seeing him on the silver screen. We're seeing him in a witness box, a very different place. But he is telling his story. It was his choice to bring this lawsuit. And he was explaining to this jury his upbringing, his relationship with Amber Heard, and why he feels the need to do this. You know, a lot of people said, why would you spread your dirty laundry across the world to see? He says, I'm not embarrassed. I'm doing the right thing, and I'm trying to clear my name and my family's name in all of this.
Here's a part of what he said about what he said was a troubled upbringing. Let's listen.
Essentially, she could become quite violent, and she was quite violent, and she was quite cruel, and though there was physical abuse, certainly, which could be in the form of an ashtray being flung at you, you know, it hits you in the head, or you'd get beat with a high-heel shoe or a telephone, or...
He is talking about his upbringing and his mom there. Why go back so far?
Okay, there's a number of reasons. One, obviously, the sympathy factor. But the bigger point is he's saying, jury, he didn't quite say this, but he's saying, jury, substitute Amber Heard for my mother. I am like my father. We are the abused men who do not fight back. We do not engage in physical violence. We are shy, we are kind. And when confronted with this abuse, what we do is we go to another room, we try to escape, or we leave that situation, we leave that marriage. That is what he is trying to tell this jury, that I did the same thing like my father. I am not an abuser. And I tell you what, I know he's a storyteller, but he was captivating. In my opinion, on the first day, he seemed highly credible. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he does on a second day. And also, we're waiting to see how he'll do when he's being questioned by Heard's lawyers, because it's not going to be so simple when he's being questioned by his own attorneys.
Yeah. And so what did you see from her, her reaction to his testimony?
Okay, she was as stoic and stone-faced as the jury. It was so hard to get a read on her. Even when he was talking about how their relationship first started on the Rum Diary, and they had like a very passionate shower kiss scene, and that's when he really felt something. No emotion from her. And that's the way I think her attorneys probably told her to do that. You have to have a poker face. You don't want the jury looking at you, that you want them focused on the testimony. She's going to have her time to get on the stand. She's going to testify on her own case. And I think that was the right move on her part, but who knows what she's thinking behind the scenes, because it's her opinion. Everything Johnny Depp is saying is a lie.
So is it hard, do you think, for the jury members? I mean, you were there in the courtroom. Is it hard to listen to Johnny Depp and not feel that you're seeing a performance of lines, because you have seen him perform so many lines as a movie star?
Well, I think he wanted to create that distinction, because he got on the stand and said, listen, as a movie star, as a creator, as an actor, I can spit out 1,000,000 lines a minute. That's not who I am. When I was watching him on the stand, it was almost like an awkward pause, because I was shocked that I was looking at Johnny Depp. who has kind of like the silver tongue on movies, he was very slow, deliberate, careful in his word choice, a very different person than we've seen normally. And I think that came off as credible. He's saying, look, I don't want to be here, but I have to be here. I have to tell my story. So I think so far he did an excellent job on his first day. It's impossible to know what the jury's thinking, but we're all listening very carefully to each word. And I know who's also listening, Amber Heard's attorneys, because there was a couple of points in his testimony that I think they're going to jump on. In fact, I should tell you real quick, in his opening statement, he never mentioned the Washington Post article, the article that he's suing Amber Heard about, which I thought was a bit curious. He talked about all these statements, all this pain, but never directly tied it back to the Washington Post article, which is a big point of his defamation claim.
Interesting. So did you see her lawyers taking notes at certain times?
Yes, and no, very rarely did they object. They're letting him go on because the more that a witness actually speaks, the more opportunity you have for them to cross-examine them on a number of points. So they're going to go back when they have a time to go back to his upbringing, go back to his childhood, go back to his career. Their position, he was at fault for torpedoing his own career, the drugs, the alcohol, not Amber Heard. And there's been testimony so far to indicate and to support that. But on the other hand, what's been very clear throughout this case is that he and Amber Heard had a terrible relationship, a very tumultuous relationship. I'm not sure we'll get at the end of this case, a real understanding of what happened between the two of them. And the legal case might be different than what the public views these two at the end. And there's some disturbing allegations, but I will tell you, it's fascinating to see Johnny Depp on the stand.
Jesse Weber, I thank you in Fairfax County, Virginia, for that trial. Thank you. By the way, back here, you can watch Johnny Depp take the stand again today. HLN will bring you the live coverage of the testimony. Begins at 10 a.m. Eastern, and then all the big developments tonight in a special report called Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, War Over Words, 9 p.m. Eastern on HLN.
Sex and Murder, a special 2-hour season premiere, starts Sunday at 10 on HLN.
He found these 2 suitcases sitting on the side of the road. He unzipped the black one, and I observed a deceased adult female was inside the suitcase. So I opened the purple suitcase, and it contained a big black garbage bag. There was a human hand it had poked through.
Automatically there was talk of serial killer.
People in Milwaukee had flashbacks to 2 decades earlier, and one of the most notorious serial killers in world history, Jeffrey Dahmer. I think we found Laura.
Laura would never just disappear because her kids were her life. She just wouldn't just...
Laura has 6 children. 6 children.
And then he brought up Jenny.
I first started talking to her, she was like 16 or 16 and a half years old.
I don't think she told anybody because she knew everybody would have talked her out of it.
What was your
nickname or call name on Collar?
Mr. Handcuffs?
This was just at a deeper level of sadistic.
How many more has he killed?
Sex and Murder, new season, Sunday night at 10 on HLN.